us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Libby. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is Willow.
Hello.
Hello, it's hot.
Hello, it is.
So hot and muggy.
It's the heat.
Yeah, it's the heat. I hate when people are like, it's a dry heat. Bitch, it's just the heat.
Yeah. Honestly, I gotta say, I don't know if it's just because I'm Arkansas native, but I prefer the humid heat.
I prefer the humid heat.
Especially, like, because Texas heat is pretty ridiculous. Colorado heat is like touching the sun. It's like playing with the sun.
It's weird. It feels like you're just being irradiated.
Yeah.
Like sizzled.
Yeah.
At least here I feel like I'm being stewed.
Yeah.
Slower.
Yeah.
I mean, humidity is arguably more dangerous.
Yeah. But the shade
still.
here with all the trees and
the
stuff
breeze
and
is
the
nice.
breeze.
And then you're covered in sweat. So it blows on the sweat and that's good. But, you know,
birds are chirping and shit. It's Fern Gully around here.
Oh my goodness, it so is right now. Like, I don't know if y'all ever hear like chirpy sounds in the background. It's just all
I always wonder
katydid.
that because the katydids and the cicadas, I don't hear it after a while. It becomes like background white noise.
Like white noise to me. I can sleep to it.
And then I'll like look at videos or something, and I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking loud as shit.
Yeah, or like you go outside and you're talking to your neighbor and having a secret cigarette, and you're like hollering.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Secret smoking.
Secret smoking. Anyway, I hope you guys are staying cool. Please, if there's a heat advisory, don't be dumb and do your lawn or grill outside. Yeah. Listen to it. Drink your water.
Drink more water than you want to.
Girl, wear the hair up. Put a cool rag on the neck.
Yeah. Braid your hair.
Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about the weather and being annoying, and we're going to get into it. What do you have for us today, Willow?
So today's case is the case of stalking victim Molly McLaren. She was a 24-year-old college student who was stabbed over 75 times.
Oh my God.
In broad daylight by her stalker ex-boyfriend, Joshua Stimpson. The CCTV footage of this that was released on the news later on in 2018, I mean, it's just a couple seconds. And
those
that
couple seconds are rough.
The image just burns into my soul. And like without context, because like when the news report came out, there wasn't a whole lot of context with it. But just seeing, I mean, it's just literally a CCTV footage of a girl at the gym, and then a guy comes up at the gym and starts working out next to her. Like without context, you wouldn't think anything, but you can feel it. You can fucking feel it through the screen.
It's got a tense, suspenseful sort of atmosphere.
It is terrifying, and it's literally just two people working out at the gym.
And you know, I almost covered this one, and I know you almost did for CCTV month,
right?
And I'm glad you're doing it because, like, actually the CCTV footage was so brutal.
It's haunting.
I can't.
It's fucking haunting.
Yeah.
Honestly, anytime I'm in one of those public situations where, you know how like your instincts kick in and your fight or flight and like the hair on the back of your neck stands up, you can just sense something's wrong with someone. I instantly look for the CCTV cameras, like the surveillance cameras, every time.
Every time.
I try to get myself in a position where I can be seen from the camera,
like my face.
And it's because of this particular case. And we did a whole, caught on camera month.
Yeah.
And out of all of those cases that we researched and covered and
this one weirdly stuck with me, and I didn't cover it.
This is the one that sticks with me from that point of view. So, trigger warning for this case is mental health issues, eating disorders, obviously stalking and harassment, and domestic assault, violence, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
So Molly McLaren was born on May 26th, 1994 in Kent, England, to parents Douglas and Joanne McLaren. Her upbringing isn't really talked much about because it's just a very quaint and lovely. She had a wonderful childhood. She was described as basically a little ball of light. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, and a big smile, and she made everyone around her feel seen and accepted. She always brought with her a positive attitude, and her laughter and her joy was just absolutely contagious. Her friends all said that it was hard to have a bad day around Molly. She was easy to talk to. She was humble and kind and trustworthy. She was someone you could go to if you needed to talk, and she'd always be there to listen or have any way of saying just the right thing to cheer you up or help you through it. And in my experience, people like this, people with this sort of gift, this doesn't come from just nowhere.
No.
People with this sort of gift know how to guide people through their darkness because they've been in their own darkness enough to know the way out.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how she was.
They've got those dark places mapped out.
Exactly. Because
they've
been
walked
there.
them themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to walk those dark places quite a few times to know your way
not
out.
only do that, but emerge from it with more empathy instead of less.
And grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I've been successful with that. I mean, I've tried.
Right? Definitely try.
Yeah.
But I still have
I really admire
a lot of...
Yeah.
I get real grumpy.
Sure fucking
Whole
do.
lot.
I mean, I don't care.
Right. But I admire Molly for her grace and purity through it all. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, to be able to hang on to your light when you've had to go through some shit is real hard. Like, it's something I've been struggling with this month, actually.
absolutely same.
Losing my livelihood, being stalked.
Currently. And like, I'll quote her towards the end, and she says some things that just really hits home. Like, she has this beautiful personality that, man, it's not fair. Molly had been struggling with bulimia most of her teenage years and found that her medicine was fitness and nutrition. She started a blog to document her process. She openly talked about her mental health issues and the journey of self-acceptance, and she helped motivate others, which this blog she continued through her college career. Her parents, Joanne and Doug McLaren, wrote on the Molly McLaren Foundation website, which has since moved to Facebook. Instead of keeping up both the website and all these other things, they just kind of moved everything to Facebook. You can find all of the information there. But they wrote, quote, Molly showed us as parents and family and a lot of other people how she overcome her demons. In Molly's case, she chose exercise and the study of nutrition as means by which to confront her challenges. Ultimately, we are not defined by the challenges life throws at us. We are defined by how we face them. Molly confronted her demons head on. She tried to understand them and worked on a strategy that finally allowed her to be a winner. Inner strength and self-belief are key to winning battles. You must first believe in yourself. After that, anything is possible. They later said, quote, Molly could not complete her final year at the university, but we as parents collected a diploma on her behalf at Rochester Cathedral. Her grades were with distinction and held that she had a chance to finish her degree in all likelihood. It would have been a first-class honors award. Molly sought to help fellow sufferers of eating disorders with her blog and was a champion of positivity and self-belief. After high school, she enrolled in Kent University, just a few miles up the road from her childhood home. She began her studies in exercise science and nutrition, and she landed a job as a fitness instructor. College was going great. Molly got straight A's in all of her courses. She engaged with professors while both being thought-provoking and absolutely hilarious at the same time. She really had fun in her classes, and everybody enjoyed her in those classes. Like, she didn't take away from the experience. Like, she didn't take away.
She added to.
She added to. Absolutely. And her, like, not just the students, but the professors themselves absolutely loved having her and absolutely loved that she engaged with them as well. And she just, like, I know it's said a lot on true crime podcasts, but she really did bring the light into the room, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She found women just like her struggling with eating disorders. She focused on fitness, that they all kind of like grouped together. They focused on fitness and wellness, and they had a lot of fun together. They went out, they worked hard, they studied hard, and they played hard. And Molly was just living her entire college experience absolutely fully. But though she had a great group of friends, she really never had a true boyfriend. She didn't need a boyfriend to feel complete. She absolutely loved her life. But eventually, in June of 2016, during the summer after her first semester in college, she got curious. And she got on Tinder. And she matched with a 24-year-old man named Joshua Stimpson. Joshua Stimpson was also into fitness and wellness. They spoke online for a few months before ever meeting in person. She felt safe opening up to him about her personal struggles, since he had also opened up to her about his own mental health issues. The two conversated effortlessly. Molly loved the deep connection she felt with Joshua. She felt like she was able to help him through his issues, while he was in turn able to help her through hers. They eventually started going on dates and made it official that fall. They basically did everything together. They worked out together. They went out together. They stayed in together. Molly had never had a serious relationship before, so at the beginning, everything seemed really normal.
And
Honestly,
kind of like dreamlike,
yeah, I was about to say, this seemed like
know?
better than normal to her. Like, this seemed like everything she could have wanted.
She thought maybe she found the one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with the shared interests, with, the softness with opening up and, the vulnerability.
Sharing their issues and working on them together.
It
can really bring you close.
mean, that's what a true romantic relationship should be. I help you, you help me.
Yes.
I find great joy in helping you through your struggles.
Yeah, there is joy in helping your partner.
Absolutely. That's one of the main things I want in a person is let me help.
You don't fight me.
Let me help.
And then help me when I'm down.
Exactly, so that I
you.
can be helped.
Yeah.
Let me help you so that way you can help me. And it feels nice. It feels good.
And that's what happened recently. Like, I lost all my livelihood. So what did Maris do? He went out and got 2 fucking jobs. And he worked 9 days in a row.
Right.
Because he loves me and I needed help.
Right. And you've done that before too.
I like to tell this story and I'll make it really brief, but Maris was going for his top surgery, but that meant he had to work at somewhere that offered the insurance that would cover it, which happened to be an hour and a half away. I drove 6 hours a day.
Right.
And had a job so he could get it. And I did this for a year and it killed a car and I didn't give a shit and I would do it again because that's what love is.
Right.
That's it. That's what love is. Mm-hmm. And I can see how she would feel that that's what she'd found,
Mm-hmm. Especially with all of I hate how the beginning of relationships, the love bombing,
it can just get you.
It gets you because honestly, love bombing, what it is in and of itself without the time limit, should be how every relationship works.
Yeah.
You should be obsessed with your person in a really,
a
healthy way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You should think of them throughout the day. You should bring them little tokens of your affection like a fucking crow.
I always say a marriage or a partnership is a garden, and you tend that shit every day. You weed it. You water it.
The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And so while I don't look at it as like obsession, I do look at it as I will have ultimate empathy for my partner. Yeah. And I will do for them as I wish to be treated.
Mm-hmm. I can't live without them, so I want to create a life with them.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say that.
You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to live without. I want them in my life.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm going to cultivate a life together.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Kind and respectful and comfortable.
So love bombing can really disguise itself
as true love.
As true love.
Yeah.
And if you're inexperienced and you haven't had a major relationship in your life, and then this comes along, you are gone. Yeah. You are swept off your feet. That is exactly how my first relationship started.
That's how all of my relationships have started.
Oh, girl, yeah,
it's
that's
either
true.
3 weeks or 3 months. That's the time limit every time.
Try.
Every time. And then they get tired of it, and then it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Every time.
That's BS.
It is BS.
BS.
So eventually with Joshua, he became obsessive, manipulative, and extremely controlling. By early 2017, Molly had tried introducing him to her friends, and he seemed to be completely detached. He wouldn't speak to them, he would barely look at them, and he wouldn't engage with them. And it was really fucking awkward because her friends are really sweet. And afterwards, after hanging out, he came to Molly and just bombarded her with a bunch of like bullshit about her friends, things that he didn't like about them, basically saying that she was too good for them and trying to like drive a wedge in between her and her friends. And we see this in a lot of really abusive and manipulative friendship or relationships, is where the manipulator will try to isolate you from your friends. And that's kind of what he started doing pretty quickly. Then he started demanding to be with her at all times. No matter where she was going, no matter what she was doing, he wanted to be there. Even when she's studying. Now, this girl is extremely, like college is really, really important to this woman. She's very, very goal-oriented. And again, she's a straight A student. So her studies are at the top priority. It goes studies, her own personal health, her friends, and then her boyfriend. And I think that she really wanted to stand her ground on her priorities here.
Hell yeah.
But he would just show up. And he would just sit in her room while she's studying. And just sit there.
Ooh, I can't cope with that shit.
And when she wasn't paying attention to him, he would bitch and moan and complain and whine and cry and boo-hoo.
Like my cat when I'm typing, it lay on my keyboard.
Right.
Get out.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, she just couldn't take it. She absolutely couldn't take it. She finally texted him, quote, "We can't be with each other 24/7. I feel really pressured." And she's being honest, like she thought she could be. But this sent him over. He did not respond well. He would gaslight her and make her feel like she was in the wrong, made her feel bad, and made her feel like this was all her fault. He continued to smother her and obsess over her for the next few months until spring of 2017, when Molly had finally had enough. The pressure with school was too much. You know, she's getting towards the end of the semester. She couldn't stay focused on her studies with this aggressive man just breathing down her neck, so she decided to break up with him. But as we can all assume, this did not go over very well with Joshua.
No.
He begged for her back constantly. And eventually, with enough pressure and guilt, Joshua convinced Molly to take him back. And of course, her friends begged her not to, but at the end of the day,
he made the promises.
Right. Well, and at the end of the day, Molly truly cares about people. She loves and cares from the depths of her soul.
She wanted to believe he was worth another chance.
Right.
Because I feel like people, especially who've undergone like eating disorders or addiction issues.
Or mental health issues.
We feel like so many people gave up on us.
Right.
When all we needed was another chance.
Right.
And so it makes you so empathetic and you think, oh my God, if somebody had just given me another chance, I did get better. Mm-hmm. So maybe he can get better too.
And I think he was like officially diagnosed or misdiagnosed at one point in time. He told her that he had depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder. I believe he was only diagnosed with anxiety and depression, but he used bipolar disorder and various other mental health issues as the reasons why he was acting this way.
Excuses for his behavior.
Yeah.
Very similar to my ex.
Right? So, yeah. He manipulated her back into his life, and the abuse began all over again. He inserted himself into everything she did. If she said she was going somewhere, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, what time are we leaving?" Or like, "Hey, I'm going to go hang out with so-and-so. Okay, let's go." It would just always be like a we thing when she wanted it to be an I thing.
Yeah, he just assumed and inserted and insinuated himself into every situation.
Absolutely, because he was going to be by her side 24/7. Yes.
I do think, and I'll just take it aside for this just super quick, I do think one of the bigger components of stalking that's not really talked about very much is it is a way to control the victim.
Absolutely.
And it's an illusion of control. If you know all their movements, you know everything that they're doing, everyone that they're talking to, it gives you this sense of control. It just really grosses me out.
Right. In May of 2017, Molly could feel the relationship disintegrating again and thought maybe a vacation would help. But of course, it only further proved that they shouldn't be together. While on vacation, Molly texted her friend, quote, "Thought this stuff with Josh was going to pass, but it's not. It's worse. It's the worst thing ever. Help me. I can't really talk about it until I'm home, but I'm just dreading it. She told her friend that Joshua wasn't listening to anything that she was saying, and it was getting more and more difficult to reason with him. On June 17th, 2017, after she came back from her vacation, while out with friends celebrating her 23rd birthday, Joshua was there, and of course, they started arguing there at the club. Molly had had enough. There in the middle of the bar, she told Joshua it was over. She was done.
You know, I'm really proud of her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He shouted aggressively in front of everyone, in front of all of their friends and all the patrons there. He shouted very loud, "She's finished with me." And then he stormed out of the venue. He tried to argue further with Molly, so Molly just blocked him. She blocked his number, she blocked all of his socials, she blocked every way for him to contact her, and from there she thought it was over. And it should have been.
It always should be.
But it had just begun.
Yep, I know this one.
This sent him over the edge. Joshua got on Facebook in retaliation and started posting terrible things about Molly to ruin her public image. Remember, she has a fitness blog. There are a lot of people that follow her. He went on long rants about her, posting screenshots out of context and photos of her, spreading lies and rumors about her, saying that she had a coke problem and all kinds of things that would potentially ruin her career. And since he couldn't tag her, he started tagging her friends and family members.
Yep.
Molly obviously didn't know about this post until other people
Told
who
her
were
'cause she
tagged,
blocked him.
right? And so this is even further humiliating. She was able to report some of the posts and get some of them taken down, but Josh would just post more and more the more that they got deleted. He was relentless. Even after her friends and family blocked him too, he still kept going. He goes on WhatsApp and continues talking about her. Molly starts to get worried and texts her friends, quote, "Josh has turned nasty. I'm scared he might hurt me. He knows my parents are going away for 2 weeks." And then, right after she texts this, Josh posts a single chilling status that reads simply, quote, "There's more to come." On June 22nd, 2017, Molly and her mother take the screenshots from Joshua to the police station to see what they can do about the stalking and abuse, and hopefully to get something on record. And for some goddamn awful, very British reason, the police officer just decided to personally call Joshua himself, put this boy on speakerphone in front of Molly and her mother, and just decided to try to convince him to take the post down over the phone.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Y'all in England just go out of your way just to be so polite, and it's so culturally strange to me.
I love how not only how polite they are, but also how so reserved.
Yeah, and it's like when they want to be mean, oh man, there's so many frills on it, you can't even tell.
It's the most frilly, passive-aggressive nonsense I
yeah,
ever did
like you
see.
can cut somebody with a knife and have frills all over and you wouldn't even know.
You're like, I'm bleeding? Why?
Yeah,
You know?
it's so strange.
Look, British people, I want to tell you this, and you need to believe me, because all of you all buttoned up like that, just go ape shit. Just go ape shit.
Yeah.
Just let it out. Feels so good.
It's just interesting to me. It's also a very Canadian thing to do as well.
Well, so polite.
Yeah, so polite. So yeah, he calls him up, and basically at the end of the conversation, the police officer says to Joshua Stimpson, "We aren't going to have to talk about this again, are we?"
What is he, a fucking toddler?
He is, though. To which Joshua simply replied, "Aren't we?"
Oh.
In front of Molly and her mother.
Ooh, straight to jail. Under the jail.
Just chilling. So after that, Molly texted her friend about what was going on, and about this very cold response of his, and it just scared her that much more. Molly and her mom printed out pictures of Joshua to give to her neighbors so that way everyone around her in her vicinity knew what he looked like and knew to keep an eye out for him. Because if the police weren't going to do anything about it, Molly's mother was going to make sure that her daughter was well protected. On June 27th, 2017, Joshua goes to work but leaves early. He goes to the store and he buys a paring knife. He goes to another store and he buys a pickaxe. That evening, Molly receives a phone call from the police saying that Joshua had just called them and agreed to take down the social media posts about her. It seems as though he's being cooperative. Little does anyone know, Joshua Stimpson had an inside source watching Molly's every move online. He had matched with a woman on Tinder and had been talking to her for a while. It's unclear if they actually met up in person. I want to say they didn't ever meet in person. If they did, it might have been just one date. But this wasn't like an in-person relationship that he had with this woman. It was
mostly conducted online.
Yeah, and he basically fed her this, very fictional story of what their relationship was and who this Molly character was, and convinced
to get her cooperation.
Yes, absolutely. And convinced this woman to add Molly on all of her socials, befriend her.
And then send him the posts.
And then, screenshot everything and send him the post. So he had a live, basic live notification of what Molly was doing at all times.
And you would think that this is not common, and this makes this case unusual. I'm here to tell you that ain't so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had people on my Facebook tasked by my ex, because he just lied about it.
Right.
Lied about the situation,
right.
Who I was. Just spying on me, creepily. I didn't even know them, because I would just add anyone to my Facebook.
Right.
And it's just, the violation is just, it's so gross.
Well, and I understand it from the woman's point of view.
She's just trying to help.
Right. I mean, I've been that girl. Not that girl, but you know what I mean? Like when a friend is going through something and she has somebody who's, being the bad guy in the situation, I've definitely gone on their page to see what they're posting to make sure they're not posting about my friend. Yeah, absolutely. So
I sent you some screenshots.
Hell yeah, girl. And yeah, exactly.
I'll do it again.
We look out for our own. So I definitely believe that's what she thought was going on.
She was manipulated into thinking that Molly was a bad person that had done something bad to him, and that's why she was doing it, to be helpful.
Right.
She didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And so while we're all going to be quick to jump on her and judge, she's not the one that committed these crimes. And and he's clearly good at manipulating.
Right.
He manipulated Molly.
And he manipulated a lot of other people too.
There you go.
Everyone around him.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, if you see his photo, he's GQ all the way. I mean, he is chiseled cheekbones with the jawline, with the muscles, with the hair. I mean, I can
clean
see
cut, nice looking dude.
Yeah, I can see how a very handsome man
and we got a
with
bad,
a smooth talk.
Yeah, we got a bad pretty bias. And it is my
yeah.
I almost wish I could tell everybody close your eyes and listen to the words they say and observe their actions. Their looks don't mean shit.
Right. But I think it's almost innate for us as humans.
I think it's a societal thing. I think
I think we've always had this as a societal thing. I mean, our ideas of pretty has changed,
over time.
But I think we've always exalted.
We should.
Absolutely. But I say that to say that I understand where these people are by being manipulated by him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not blaming them at all.
So on June 28th, 2017, Molly posted on Snapchat a selfie with a status that said that she was going to the local pub called the Ship and Trade. She was celebrating a new enrollment in college, and her friend had just been promoted. So it was girls' night, right? They were living it up. They were celebrating. And, it was supposed to be a really great night. She was excited until Josh Stimpson showed up with a date. She later posted to her Snapchat story a selfie from the bathroom at the pub where she captioned it, "That feeling when your ex shows up at the same club as you." Which felt, girl.
I have had this shit fucking happen. It sucks.
Yeah. They all thought it was a weird coincidence. How did he just happen to show up here? Molly told her friends, quote, "I'm actually not jealous at all, and that's how I know I don't love him anymore." It seemed like confirmation that she had made the right decision. It seemed like he had moved on, and so had she, and maybe things were going in the right direction. Molly went up to the bar to ask the bartender about paying for parking. Josh was sitting at the bar close by and smiled at her. And this made Molly extremely uncomfortable. As he was leaving, Josh took the long way around to walk by Molly's table of friends, just to further make his presence known. And they were all weirded out by this, of course. Like, they were all like, wow, this is really childish. Like, grow the fuck up.
What the hell
like,
is wrong with him? Yeah.
Yeah. They, ended up drinking and, chatting a little bit longer at the table. And after a little bit, Molly decided to leave early and go home so she could get comfy and get to bed on time. It's likely he followed her.
God, it's so creepy.
June 29th, that next day, Molly wakes up early and heads to the gym to record her next fitness video for her blog. She arrives just before 10 a.m. She's the only one in the gym. What a relief. She gets her camera, her mat all set up. She begins her workout, and in walks Josh Stimpson.
Because he knew her schedule. He knew her every move.
He knew.
Yeah.
But nobody knew she was going to the gym that day.
But he did.
How did he know?
He's following her.
Likely.
Yeah.
He comes into the gym, and he rolls out his mat just a few feet away from her. The entire gym's open. Entire gym. And he rolls up his mat a few feet away from Molly.
Just to intimidate and control her further.
Absolutely. It's to scare the goddamn shit out of her.
Yeah. That's
like
what
it
he
did
wanted.
everybody who saw that CCTV footage.
Yeah. It scared me.
So the CCTV footage right outside the gym in the stairwell later revealed that he went up the stairs, he approached the gym door, he looked in, he saw Molly, he turned around, he went back down the stairs, he stopped halfway, he thought about it for a second, and then he turned right back around, and he went back into the gym.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
And that's when he started his workout.
And I just thought you had that moment where you were about to make the right choice and leave.
I personally think,
No, you don't think that's what he was doing?
based on what happens next, I think he was going to do his plan in the gym,
Yeah.
but instead decided to taunt her first.
Oh, shit. I think you're right. That's awful.
So, yeah, he rolls out the mat next to her. He starts his workout, and he just acts like everything is normal. Molly is obviously very uncomfortable. She looks over at him and just stares at him in disbelief. She's got courage. She's got a lot of courage right now. He continues to ignore her, like he's doing nothing wrong. She texts her friend, quote, "What the fuck? He just turned up and come right next to me," sending her a photo of Joshua working out just feet away from her.
My God.
Her friend knows something's wrong. Molly got up the courage to confront him. She walked up to him and she said, "Why aren't you at work?" To which he said, "Well, I don't think that's any of your business." So she's like, fine. She just walked away. And she continued to go on
her
with her
thing.
exercise. She continued to act like he wasn't bothering her. Her and her friend continued texting, trying to figure out how the fuck he knew she was there, because it was very obvious he knew she was there.
Yeah, clearly.
And she was like, I didn't post to social media. I didn't do anything. Like, I
No,
didn't
because
tell
when you're
anyone.
being stalked, you start holding back information from even people close to you because
Right.
you don't know who's a spy. You
Right.
don't know where he's getting this information.
Exactly. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Joshua just rolls up his mat, packs his things up, and he leaves. And it gives her that sigh of relief.
She relaxes and lets her guard down because she thinks it's over.
Exactly.
But it's not.
Obviously, that was fucking weird, but she's like, thank God it was over. He's gone. She texts her friend and told her, and her friend suggested that she just go ahead and go home. He's obviously acting suspicious. Molly calls her mom, and her mom tells her, and she tells her mom the situation, and her mom says basically the same thing. She's just like, come on home, baby. It's not worth it. So Molly packed up her things. She headed out to her car at 11:02. She texts her friends as she's walking to her car. She says, "I'm always fucking looking over my shoulder. And her friend basically told her, like, he's a creep, like, I fucking hate him. Like, she's just like, you just need to get out of there. You just need to get away from him. Like, he's a sociopath. And she's like, that's what I'm doing. I'm walking to my car now. Her friend texted her back. Molly read it at 11:08, but never replied. She got to her car. She put her things in her car. She gets in the driver's seat and was just about to drive away when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Joshua rips the driver's side door open, and before she could have a moment to realize what's going on, he'd already begun stabbing her. She begins honking the horn. She's screaming. She's making as much commotion as she possibly can to get anybody's attention. One passerby, a dog walker, he hears the commotion. He tries to grab Joshua. But Joshua's already covered in so much of her blood that
he can't hang on.
He can't get a grip.
It's slippery.
Joshua has a leg kind of hanging out the door. And again, it's covered in blood. That's what he was pulling on. He was pulling on his leg.
Couldn't get a grip.
So the man takes the driver's side door and begins slamming it against Joshua's leg.
Fucking A, good.
Trying to get him to stop. It didn't faze him at all.
No, he's running on pure adrenaline.
Exactly.
He's probably partly in shock too.
Yeah,
from the act.
He's just
in
enraged. Yeah, absolutely.
He's in an altered state of consciousness by this time. He ain't feeling no pain.
Absolutely. And while he's like trying to slam the door on his leg ended up, getting inside the car just as it a flinch, and he ended up shutting the door completely. And in that moment, this random dog walker, he kind of looks into the car and he sees she's not moving.
She's already gone.
He had already slashed her throat several times. So he realizes that the only thing that he can do to help this woman
is run and call the police.
Exactly. And that's what he does.
Good.
Joshua is just in full rage. He doesn't, feel a thing with his leg. He doesn't notice that man at all. He just continues stabbing and slashing at her throat. Joshua continued slashing Molly until he wore himself out. When he was done, he put the knife down, he closed the car door, and just leaned against the car, waiting.
For the cops.
Mm-hmm. And when they did show up, which it only took about a few minutes, when they did show up, he calmly wiped the blood off his face. He held up his hands and he said, "It's me you're looking for. She's in the car. I've killed her." Paramedics did everything they could to save Molly's life, but she was already gone. She was pronounced dead at the scene at 11:43 a.m. Over 75 stab wounds were counted, mostly to her upper body, neck, chest, face, and defensive wounds.
My God.
A few minutes later, her friend that she had been texting received a text message from a mutual friend about a news report that had just been released about a stabbing in the area that Molly's gym was located.
Oh, God.
She thought it couldn't be Molly. Molly had already left. They checked her Snapchat location.
And it was right there.
She hadn't left. And they knew. They knew. Meanwhile, Molly's mother is still waiting on her daughter to get home. She knew it took her 15 minutes to drive home. The minutes passed by. It had been 30 minutes. She thought maybe she's stuck in traffic.
Stop for coffee or something.
Then her friend sent her a link. And she thought, no, this couldn't be her. Just as she's trying to process the likelihood that this news report could possibly be about her daughter, she gets a knock at the door.
It's the police. Poor
confirming.
thing.
And even more heartbreaking, Molly's father isn't home. Molly's father is on a work trip on a boat 100 miles off the coast of Senegal.
Oh, God, and she's all alone to have to hear that horrible news.
And she has to somehow contact her husband to let him know.
Who's basically unreachable right now.
She has to email him. Basically, call me. It's urgent. So he has to go to shore. Finally, figure out what happened. And now he has to sit with not just the parental guilt of being so far away, but now he has to travel back home with all that time thinking about and processing what the fuck had just happened.
And having to keep it together in public.
Exactly. At the scene, Joshua seemed very cooperative, but once questioned, he wouldn't say a single word and would later attempt to have his attorney convince the courts that he was not guilty due to diminished capacity, saying that he was bipolar and that he had rejection sensitivity disorder. Which I say that way because I know we both, Lillian and I both have this.
I got rejection
and ain't
sensitivity
nobody
dysphoria.
going to stab somebody 75 times.
Well, let me tell you this. When I get it, all I feel is bad about myself.
And I'm going to cry.
I want to hide in a hole, and
Yeah.
I'm crying and maybe throwing up a little bit.
Yeah.
And thinking everyone hates me.
Yes.
Violent thoughts are like the farthest thing from my mind.
Absolutely.
I'm just soggy like wet bread.
We are going to sit here and ponder about all of the bad things we've ever done in our life and hope to God and wish and pray that we could be better.
Oh, mine is just replaying the dumb shit I fucking said. And how could I have made it different? I actually never even blame the person. I think it's me that's the fool.
That's what definition of rejection sensitivity.
I know.
Yeah.
When they aren't even thinking about me and I'm just making a mountain out of a molehill. That's not what it is. I hate when people misrepresent mental health issues.
Right? Isn't it
Pisses
disgusting?
Me off. Pisses me
and the
off.
audacity of thinking that you can just, wear that.
Oh, I'll just get away scot-free from my horrific actions because I'm a little crazy.
When there's people every day, all day, struggling with these things.
And they ain't killing nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he tried to say all this in an attempt to take a plea deal of manslaughter. But, of course, he bought the weapon days before. He stalked her. And it was more than clear that he premeditated this murder. What the courts hadn't known until witnesses came forward is that Joshua had a history of this type of abuse. That this wasn't, in fact, a mental health incident, but rather a pattern of his that he was doomed to happen eventually. Like many cases of stalking, had the authorities taken this seriously earlier, it likely would have been stopped long before he had ever met Molly. Several women came forward to testify against Joshua Stimpson. Two of his ex-girlfriends both told their experiences attempting to break up with Josh. They both said that he'd get extremely violent, threaten them, stalk them, harass them, all in attempts to get them back somehow. He slashed their tires. One of the women said that he also posted on Facebook about her, tagging her friends, slandering her publicly, trying to ruin her image, just like he had done Molly. He also sent her harassing messages and lots of messages about how he wanted to kill her. So this is obviously a pattern. This is obviously something that he was going to do to the next person and the next person and the next person until he finally did it.
What I find interesting about stalkers is that when they don't ever give up.
No.
They will continue stalking this. I'm sure he was still stalking them in some way.
Well, I think that with him, his obsession would pass. So once, I believe the last stalking victim, their stalking ended the day he met Molly.
Gotcha.
So he hyperfixates on people one at a time.
I think that it can kind of go one of two ways, and that one is that way, and one is the stalker that just never gives up.
I'm sure he was keeping tabs on everybody else, but his fixation and his attention was on Molly.
You're right.
But each of them said that, once he started dating the next person, there was that moment of relief where he...
God, I would remember my ex would get a new girl, and I was just like, I'm sorry for her, but thank God for me.
Right? I hate to say it, but I feel that way about a lot of my exes, too. It just...
oh, now I don't have it on me. The fucking Eye of Sauron isn't fucking on me.
Right? One of the exes tried to go to police twice. But every bit of evidence that they gave them, every time that they, tried to bring this issue forward, the police just kind of poo-pooed it off. You know what I mean? He basically just got away with a warning. And we see this way too many times with stalking cases. Had he been charged, or at least reported in some way, then maybe they would have actually done something when Molly went to the police. There would have been a record. There would have been some history there, and they would have taken Molly more seriously, and then they wouldn't have just called him up and said, hey, maybe don't do that. And because of this, honestly, this is something that American Police Task Force would never do. Like, you would never see this in the United States. But Kent Police reported itself. Kent Police reported itself.
That's very British of them.
To the Independent Office of Police Conduct in hopes that amending their lack of attention to this particular stalking
would
victim.
keep it from happening again.
Right?
Hey, I mean, ACAB, but I'm glad you're trying.
Yeah. And they do promise, especially because of Molly, in honor of Molly, to take these cases more seriously.
Good, but she should never have had to have died.
1,000%. With all this evidence stacked against Joshua Stimpson, it only took 4 hours for the jury to make their unanimous decision. Guilty. Sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 26 years. When giving the sentence, Judge Adele Williams said, quote, "This was a cruel, calculated, and cowardly act." She turned to Joshua Stimpson and said, quote, "May you never be released from your wickedness, for your wickedness. You slit her throat while repetitively stabbing her. You were determined to punish her for finishing with you. You were seeking revenge. You are a highly dangerous young man, and you will pose a very considerable risk to women for a very considerable period in the future." Very British.
That was super British, but I
It was
agree.
British scorn, but yes, I agree with every single word. Now, since then, Molly's parents started the Molly McLaren Foundation in hopes to fund other charities who educate, raise awareness, and provide support for people affected with eating disorders. This was Molly's major, this was her obsession in life. This was the one thing that she wanted to do in life, was to help everybody else, like especially people with eating disorders. So they just furthered that for her. Every year they throw a music festival in Molly's honor called Molly Fest, and I think this is something that she would absolutely adore. And they throw this big party every year to raise money for all these various charities that Molly would have supported, and I just think that's so sweet. I would like to end this episode with some words from Molly. This is from her last blog post. Molly says, "Smile at people. Be kind. Start conversations. Listen. Be open-minded. Be considerate. Say please. Say thank you. Be kind to everyone, as you don't know what battles they are facing. Try to find something good in every day. Challenge negative thoughts with positive ones. Change your way of thinking. Be grateful for the people you have around you and their support, and be grateful for the journey you have been on thus far. Look forward to the future. Use knockbacks as lessons and experience. Accept them. Maybe that path wasn't for you anyway, but push through storms to find your sunshine. Why shouldn't we get our hopes up about things we are striving for just because there's a chance that we don't get what we hoped for this time? Why shouldn't we want and hope for the best of ourselves? It'll be a sad day when people stop hoping." And Molly, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that just got me.
I've given up hope.
What?
I have given up hope on so much.
Oh, man, me too. And
I feel like I failed her.
No, you didn't, because you're still here and you're still trying.
It's
trying
hard.
every day. It is really hard.
I don't know what hope and sunshine feels like anymore. Like,
it's really rough. But look, just because you don't know, sometimes you don't know what hope and sunshine feel like, but you could still keep going in the dark.
yeah.
And it really, I don't know, really touched me because I personally been really struggling this month.
Yeah.
I was really proud of myself for making a living with my art and taking care of my family.
Yeah.
And to have it taken away, it's like taking away my whole identity. And I'm almost 45. And
Right.
so the idea that I have to start over is really rough. But you know what? I can do it. And I will.
I heard a quote earlier today that I feel like fits her quote perfectly. This woman was like, you know, I've been through storms, and I'm going to go through storms, and I'm going to keep going through storms. And what do we do when we go through storms? We put on our raincoat.
Yeah, we do.
We
Batten
grab our
down the
umbrella.
hatches.
Mm-hmm. And then we dry off.
It's true. And it can't rain all the time.
It can't rain all the time. If there's anything that's true, it's that everything changes and nothing is permanent. That's the only permanent truth.
That's true. It's true. Whew.
I know. I love y'all. I hope I can just send out a big ass hug.
There are many of you, and there's some of you on Discord. Let me know. Let me say from me to you, and I won't get into specifics because it's your private business, that I love you, and you are in my thoughts.
Oh, yes.
And I'm holding you real close. And I have cried for you.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know that I care. And you're not by yourself. And we'll get through the rain together. Yeah. Speaking of Discord, join it. So you can cry with me. We can all cry together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a really good episode. And thank you for ending it on that note.
Yeah.
You
needed
did
it.
a good job. We needed it. I needed to cry. Whew.
We need to feel this. You know, like,
you need to feel the bad stuff and the good stuff. Amen.
I hate to end with another quote, but Rihanna once said. Rihanna
Umbrella,
once said.
L-A-A?
No.
Oh, okay.
Best advice she ever said is, you going through something, you go through it. Oh wait, that was not Rihanna. It was Angelina Jolie. Sorry, different queen. But you just go through it. You go through it headstrong, head first. You just go through
This is the way I say to go through
Through
shit.
it.
Any fucking way you can. Ass first.
Just go.
Crawling
Just
on
go.
your knees, hanging in there by your
Yep.
teeth, baby. You could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we all been through some shit, and we're going to be through some more, so just take a big bite of the sandwich, I say.
Can't go over it. Can't go around it. Can't go under it. Gotta go through it.
Go fuck yourself. That's what I say. But you know what else? Business time, and I'm going to make a quick join our Patreon. Willow, what's the case you're doing next for Patreon? I'm really excited about it.
What case am I doing? I told you.
I don't remember.
I forgot it.
Hey, that's a good advertisement. Come listen to What the Fuck I Don't Know. But hey, there's almost 300 episodes.
Oh, we just talked about this case in
We just
Discord.
did.
I
Yeah.
told everybody in Discord
Yes,
what
you
I was
did.
doing. Everybody in Discord's like yelling the name of the case right now, and I'm just having a big ass brain fart. But I'm doing that case. Oh, it's that one where the girl, the cliff.
It's
Yes.
not ringing a bell.
Anyway, you know, it's there. We'll do it. Just
Well,
be there.
That's not helpful to them. I'm trying to entice them to join our Patreon. That's the business time.
You'll see.
Anyway, it's a riveting mystery. Fuck off. God.
I'm so
Do
tired.
you know, I do it alone. I do it alone. Help me. No one can. Anyway, join our Patreon, join our Discord, get some merch. Get you a cup that insulates it for the cold drinks that you need to stay hydrated.
Girl, iced tea
all
for
day.
hours.
Mm-hmm. And it ain't getting watered down neither.
And the label doesn't come off when you put it in the dishwasher.
No, it doesn't, because I've had this cup now for nearly 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, do join our Patreon. And if you are listening on the YouTubes, please like, subscribe, and comment. And hit the notification bell. Yes, we're doing videos soon. Don't ask me to do video in a heat wave where I have to turn off my AC.
Goths melt.
No, listen. I got the lights on me.
Mhm.
I'm sitting by my hot-ass computer. I don't know why my computer's fucking hot, but it is. And then, like, no air conditioning, and I have epilepsy. Y'all can't do it. I'm too fat. So I'm dying in sweat. But yeah, it's coming soon. Very soon. I don't want it to say when. 'cause
We
I'll
won't say
always be
when.
wrong.
It'll just happen, and it'll surprise you.
And it might surprise me as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, if all you can do to support this podcast is listen, thank you. But there's also coffee. And I like to get me a Beeschurger from McDonald's with the app. Me and Maris, it's $7 for both of us to eat a little lunch together.
Mhm.
And we sit in the car and watch YouTube videos.
Mhm.
Or we people watch and we laugh at them because we're mean.
It's my favorite thing. You get something through the mobile app, and then you drive around and watch people in the drive-thru.
Yes.
Yes.
We do that. We park it across the street at the bank.
Yes, it's so evil.
Because it's shady over
like,
there.
haha, you're in line, and I am eating.
Look at
That's
me
so
eat
mean.
a cheeseburger while you wait. So yes, if you would like to get me and Willow and Maris some McAdees, we'd surely
And y'all,
appreciate
I
it.
don't know if you noticed, but it's real hot outside. Be kind to one another.
Please, it
you
makes
know?
us testy, but we gotta be good.
I know the heat makes me a grumpy little brat. I'm the biggest brat in the summertime. It's my
she's
seasonal
so
depression.
annoying. She's so annoying.
I'm just a bitch. But I just want to remind you that, like, your service workers, the waitresses, all those, the car hops, and
Bless 'em.
you know, the food delivery people, they're all having a really shitty time too. I saw a girl about on the verge of a breakdown delivering food at McDonald's. Is what made me think of it. And I could just tell people were being mean to her. So just remember, people are being mean to each other, so be extra nice to one another.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody
It makes
mean to
you
first.
feel good too. Makes you feel
So
good.
I was at McDonald's the other day,
Mhm.
and I took my 15-year-old.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. Yeah.
And, like, remember, I think I'm out of my hypomania because I feel, I don't know, it's scrongly, weird, fucked up. I don't know. But I'm not, like, murderous anymore. But, like, I was sitting there, and we finished our feud, and I was backing up, and I curbed it a little bit because that's what women do, deal with it.
We're just
And I had my window
finding
down because I was vaping also, like an asshole. And this fucking kid with this, like, child mustache was like, curb your pop your tire. And I just lost it. I lost all my mind. I said, listen here, you pussy-ass mustache-having bitch. Yeah. John was like, I was like, I'll kill you. And John was like, my 15-year-old was like, Mom, his crime does not fit the punishment. Don't kill him. Yeah, if someone's mean first, you can just unleash hell. But otherwise, be nice. And don't tell people
Boundaries
they
are
curbed
there
it. We
for a
know, I
reason.
know I curbed it, bitch. God damn. Anyway, I love each and every one of you inappropriately. So I'm going to go now. Goodbye.
bye.
This is Cruel Tea, a true crime podcast where best friends and next door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready and let's get into it.